After I smoke, do I smell like cigarette smoke?
No.
Good.
No. Oh my notes are mosquito toast.
Nice.
Okay.
That
well,
sounds
that's enough.
horrible.
It doesn't really. It's like avocado toast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Editing Academy Special Edition, which we're calling "Does It Hold Up?"
I think that's it.
Okay. Does it hold up? We did yours last time, so now we're gonna do mine. And the movie we're here to talk about, if I can, I'm so disorganized, is Mosquito Coast. Baby clap.
Baby clap. Excellent.
I didn't do the clap on the last one.
That's okay.
All right. Mosquito Coast, directed by Peter Weir, starring Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren, Andre Gregory, and River Phoenix, and then a couple other people as well. It's based on the 1981 novel by Paul Theroux, which I did read years ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
Excuse me. Well, Martha Plimpton is there as well. She deserves a shout out because she's awesome. This was not received well critically or financially. However, this is one of those movies that critics go back to and do a re-review like 15 to 20 years later. And a lot of the critics who panned it the first time have come around and been like, this actually is far better than we originally thought this movie was.
Nice.
So I'm going to give a quick synopsis and then we'll kind of dive in. And we could talk about the plot at any point in time because my synopsis is not going to do really justice to this kind of movie.
Okay.
But Ali Fox is a determined and brilliant inventor. He moves his family to South America to live off the land and avoid what he believes is an imminent nuclear war. He rebels against greed and waste in material things. Slowly, due to many of his own mistakes, the family loses more and more and is eventually forced to live gathering scraps at the mouth of a river, and then tragedy ensues. We have a nice little conflict at the end, thematic conflict at the end, and then the movie fades. There's voiceover narration by River because he's recounting all of these events. I have probably watched this movie about 10 times.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
It almost made my top 20 list. It was one of those that was like within 5 that I kind of like put in for a while, that took out and put back in because I remembered loving this movie so much. But this thing that we do, it had to be 20 years since I've seen it, and it has been 20 years since I've seen
it. All right.
We'll get to whether it held up or not. But I still think that this film is so incredibly well crafted in the messaging of what it was trying to do. You have so many different belief systems that are clashing throughout this entire movie. You have obviously religion that plays a big factor in this moving forward. You also have the belief in family, belief in individuals. His family believes in him so strongly. He's also an incredibly strong personality.
Very charismatic, yeah.
But a very strong, almost dictatorial personality. And so there's that belief system. There's the belief system that he has personally of how one should live their life. So you have all of these conflicting systems that play themselves out through the course of the movie and the actions that ensue. And I like that this movie is able to tackle all of that and do a nice balance. I mean, it had the source material to work from, and it is different in certain ways. They dive deeper into a lot of those belief systems in the book, if I remember correctly. But I do like how well this movie does play with those different belief systems as it works its way through. It clearly, I think, passes judgment rather than, like a lot of movies will introduce a topic and explore it, but they don't try to steer you.
Decide for yourself.
Yes. This one, I think, does not do that. I think it clearly comes down on one particular side. But Peter Weir is the perfect director for this kind of movie where you have all of these things in conflict and are able to have a plot move forward as that conflict is interweaving throughout.
Yep.
Turn it over to you for a little bit.
So I definitely haven't watched this in more than 20 years. I may have only watched it once or maybe another time on video when it actually came out. So this is the first time I've seen it since shortly after it came out. And the thing I had played differently in my head, and it was different on the film. For some reason, I thought that he was much more of a dictator and that the family was kind of forced to go along with him. Helen Mirren was delighted by him. Like
Yeah,
she absolutely was in it. She loved his vision. She loved his energy. She smiled. She thought it was terrific. She loved leaving the dishes behind. Like everything they did, even up to and including killing the 3 men in the ice, you know, in the ice house that turned into a giant, you know, fireball, is I think she went along with that because she understood that it was for their own survival. It was really when he set fire to the missionary church that she was like, okay, we are now actually hurting others that are not hurting us back. And so that's the first time that you saw her kind of be like, okay, nope, we're going to have to leave him. But up until then, she followed him of her own free will, which in my mind, for some reason, I thought she was more dragged along.
Again, this plays with a lot of different belief systems. She believed in him and what he stood for and his vision, so she went along with that entirely.
That's a great clarification. She may not have believed in the vision, but she believed in him.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
And again, this movie just plays so well with all these different belief systems, because you're right, at the end she does challenge it, saying, oh, he's gone off the deep end and he's not the same person anymore, or have I changed and this is who he was all along, and I no longer believe in him because of his actions.
Right.
Again, this just plays so beautifully with all that. You have the children who, while the son absolutely admires and worships the ground his father walks on, even he at the end is like, we have to go, we have to leave Dad. When they're on the boat and Dad falls over and he doesn't come up forever, he's the first person to be like, we got to get out of here. So it just plays so beautifully with all of these different things. The biggest one is the conflict of his belief system, Allie's belief system, and his absolute abhorrence for religion and what it does to people.
And missionaries, yep.
And then, I mean, we see that play out throughout. Initially, he's kind of playful about it and like, this is what I love about you people. But then, of course, in the ending scene, it really does play itself out fully. They go to the missionaries for help because he's injured and hurt. Faith being able to provide assistance and help to someone who does not believe in their faith, again, plays it up beautifully. He reacts poorly to that.
Yes, he does. I think that's an understatement.
And then, of course, the things happen and they end up floating down the river with a nice little voiceover from Phoenix. Like I said, this movie, I think, takes a very strong stance, and I think it can come across as an anti-religious movie, which I don't
see that.
It has been noted by people that it is anti-religion, and I don't necessarily think it is anti-religion, but it does come down strongly on the questioning of why someone would have faith and what that faith would mean to people. And I think that's a valid thing to question, and I don't think it comes down as being 100% anti-religion. The character is, the movie is not.
I don't think the movie is. I guess the one place where you can kind of see it is the only real man of religion is a televangelist.
Yes.
And so instead of, they never really showed true faith. They never showed true religions. They just showed a guy who is making money, or basically finding a flock that would, kind of follow him wherever he wanted them to go.
Yep.
So I don't think it was anti-religion because they only showed one particular guy. He wasn't all bad. He was just trying to get the best that he could out of what he had.
And the scene where, like, towards the end when you go in and you see 10 or 12 people in the church and you can hear the preacher talking to them, and then you slowly understand that he's actually physically not present. This is all just on the screen. That's pretty heavy. So yeah, I love how this movie is able to play with all of these themes and these belief systems and intertwine them, and it does force you as the viewer to be like, no one is really showed as bad people, except for the 3 obvious bad guys.
Of course.
No one is really bad. In fact, everybody kind of embraces Allie and his desires and vision. Even, I can't remember the character's name.
Hattie, was it?
Hattie, Mr. Hattie. when he comes and saves them by giving them sparks,
Yes.
or spark plugs, which is 100% against what Allie wants,
Oh,
because
yeah.
all you're supposed to do is find whatever's at the mouth of this river, but he saves them in that
Yes.
process because he has come to care for them, and even he realizes what you're doing right now is dangerous and dumb.
Well, and also he knows he is going to be hurt if he tries to convince him or if he tries to stay and fight him.
Yep.
So what he does is he goes to the son and is basically, you are the most reasonable person, because even your mother is under his thrall at
Yep.
this point. You are the most reasonable person that I can give this to, so I'm going to give it to you.
And you found them. I did not give
Yes,
it to you.
yes.
You found them.
Yeah, exactly.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, one moment that took me out of the movie in the best possible way is I was watching the movie and like I just turned my attention to something, and probably my phone or whatever, and I heard a voice, and I heard a woman's voice say 2 lines, and I looked and I'm like, that is Butterfly McQueen, the woman who played Prissy, the enslaved woman from Gone with the Wind, who said, I don't know nothing about birth of no babies. That was a like child black woman. She played Ma something or other, the old black woman that had 2 lines, and literally from her voice, I'm like, I know who that is, and I went and looked it up, and it actually was. And I think it was maybe her last performance.
Wow.
But she is Hollywood royalty, and so I loved that they had her in there, because I don't think she had done much over the many years since then.
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Not a lot of good roles, but I loved that, and I thought that was very interesting.
So
her particular performance.
and good catch, because I know you watch Gone with the Wind.
I was gonna say, you're not as much of a Gone with the Wind fan, but it was her voice and the way she said the lines. I'm like, oh, I know that woman.
Okay, so the big reason we do this is Kim had watched it for 20 years. Does it still hold up after not seeing it for 20 years? Obviously, we're not the same people as we were, but and I will say my official judgment is yes, it does still hold up, but barely.
Okay, why the barely?
Because I remember this movie, and it's the prejudgment. I remember revering this movie so much, and I don't know if it's because we've been doing this podcast or not, but I can pick apart a lot of the flaws now, as opposed to the reverence that I had for this movie the last time I watched it. So, yes, it is still fantastically crafted. It is beautifully acted by everybody. Even Mr. Hattie does a great performance.
100%, yeah.
And it is, if you have not seen it, it is absolutely worth your time. I don't know if you ever watched the TV series they made out of it.
I didn't. Justin Theroux, right?
Right, who is actually the grandson of...
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, no, sorry, the son.
Son of,
he's
right?
the son. Sorry, not grandson.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, so, yes, knowing that reverence that I had was a little bit lessened this time, but I will still say absolutely thumbs up. It does hold up. What about for you?
So I never held it in the reverence that you do, so therefore for me it easily held up, because I thought it was still a really good movie. I thought some of the themes, I mean, like, he walked into that hardware store at the beginning and started rattling off racist things about the Japanese and, you know, what was happening to the, you know, the country and communism, and I'm like, my lord, that's happening today. So like the themes of the movie, I think I could see happening today. I could see, you know, there are many families going off the grid and trying to, you know, get away from America. So I thought that the themes of it held up very, very well. I thought the performances held up well. I think this may be my favorite Harrison Ford performance, because he is just all over the place in the best way.
Yeah, it is 100% his movie to try to win an Oscar, for sure.
Yep.
Because a lot of the movies he did after this were just for paychecks.
Of course,
And very, very big paychecks. But this is clearly his, like, I'm going to try to win an Oscar movie.
It made me terribly sad just seeing River Phoenix and how wonderful he was in this. Yeah. That's maybe the part for me that not doesn't hold up, but makes me sad and carries me out of the movie. And like, I think he was dating Martha Plimpton at this time, because they dated right before he died. They were dating.
I thought he was dating
Samantha Morton. No.
The Married with Children actress.
He dated her at some point, but they were together. He was with Martha Plimpton for quite a while.
Okay, we'll talk about this offline because I'm going to dispute that.
Okay, excellent. I will tell you that he did date Martha Plimpton at some point. So that again, kind of like, they were babies, and it just made me sad to see that. But the movie itself, I absolutely think held up.
And I do agree with you that, like, we've seen a couple movies where Harrison reminds us what a great actor he actually is.
He is phenomenal.
And in particular, I don't know if you're watching Shrinking at all.
No, I don't have Apple, but
But
yeah, I heard it's wonderful.
Even at 80, he's given performance of a lifetime in that joke. Plays a version of himself, but he's like, again, quality actor. And this is a movie where you do see that, oh right, there's a reason why he became a megastar.
Yep, totally agree.
All right, so it does hold up for both of us. Let us know in the comments if you haven't seen it, or if you have and don't think it holds up, or whatever your thoughts are. Talk to us, damn it! See ya.
Bye-bye.